Thanks for taking the time to watch another video about transitioning to be elder-led. As part of this, we're going to be talking in this video about members meetings. And you might be thinking, what is a members meeting? Is that something new? Have we done these before? And the answer is, you've kind of done them before, because you've had church business conferences and church conferences since the beginning of this church. However, there's a shift in the name from church conference, business conference to members meeting, and that's intentional, because one of the things we're trying to do here at First Baptist is just to bring back to the forefront of our mind that membership is important. And so we're making this change strategically. So Travis, why don't you tell them a little bit about why we're changing from church conference to members meeting?
Okay, thank you, Alex, and I appreciate the opportunity again to have the opportunity to speak with our church family about how the Lord's working in our fellowship and working in the life of those of us who are pastors and leading our church family. You know, one of the things that comes to mind as I reflect back even to ministry when I was your age is that there was an expression oftentimes used about the church that said the church needs to be business-like, but not like a business. And so I would say, you know, to our church family, this is trying to achieve that in being business-like, in a sense that there are things that as a church family we have to corporately come together and make decisions on, but we should not conduct it in the same way that a business would, but we need to be business-like. And in that, you know, Paul said to the church of Corinth, let everything be done decently and in order. And so one of the things that excites me about our looking at this change of how we basically conduct business in the life of our church is that, you know, before the old model would be simply coming together to hear, you know, motions and to make decisions, to take a vote on those and to be informed about ministry. It's not news to the majority of our church family that it's very difficult for us to be able to even get the number of families to represented at a church conference on a Wednesday night. And so what a members meeting would look like is that there will be no other activities going on the church campus. As a church body, we would come together, and in that we would have praise and worship. We would hear testimonies of how God is working in the life of different ministries in our church. It may be, you know, somebody from the student ministry, as well as somebody, you know, from our senior adult ministry and anywhere in between. And so we would hear testimonies of how God's working in the life of our fellowship. There'd be a time committed for prayer, for wisdom and guidance regarding any decisions that need to be made. And then while it may not take place every time, though I like the idea, we will have the opportunity to observe the Lord's Supper just as that reminder. And so all of that would be involved with a members meeting. And the thing that excites me about that, Alex, is that we are being informed. Because I even as one of the pastors here, I don't know everything, you know, that's happening in the life of our church family. And so this brings us together to hear testimonies, to see and understand how God is at work in our life, and then to address any matters of importance that would require our church family's endorsement or vote on that.
Yeah. And I think this is just such a special aspect of the church, because in our life groups, we hope that you guys are rejoicing with one another and hearing things that are going on. We also hope that in those life groups, they're praying for one another and weeping with one another for things that are going bad. But this beginning part of seeing how individually and collectively, like in different ministries, things are going well, or things need some serious prayer because there's some suffering and some struggle, to be able to have a glimpse of that with the whole church, I think it's important for the assembly of us gathered together. And then, of course, we're congregation. We have to do business. So, of course, we have to come together and make decisions, important decisions. And sometimes it's messy, but that's part of being the church and doing the work that God has called us to do. And so I'm really excited about this. I think it's going to be great.
Yeah, and one of the things I would emphasize for us as leaders, as well as for our church family, we're not really coming together to make a decision based on what I want. But we have individually prayed for God's wisdom and direction, and then we're coming together corporately in worship and praise and prayer to make decisions not based on what I want as an individual, but what I believe after spending time with the Lord, and what we believe collectively as God's people the Lord's will is, the Lord would desire for us to do. And so that excites me, for us to be able to elevate that element of being stewards as God's people.
Yeah, it's where our entire church, God is leading us as a church family, a church body, not just what I want. And I think that is so important.
Yeah.
And one of these first church conferences, and a big one, is coming up on May 15th. And Travis wants to tell you a little bit about that special day.
So we have set Wednesday, May 15th at 6:15 in our worship center for our first members meeting. And it will, the content of that meeting will follow what we've already discussed, with a time of worship, prayer, testimony, and things of this nature. And there are some important matters in which we'll address, and there's more than one. But the primary matter of decision that we'll be having the opportunity to move on as a church family is regards to the elder-led ministry model. And so we want each of you to be aware of this meeting on May the 15th at 6:15 in our worship center, where we will be coming to a time of voting. I will share with you that it's going to be a ballot vote, and I'll share more about my thoughts and convictions in that meeting, but we will be taking a ballot vote on this motion only. And so I just want to remind our folks, we have spent well over a year. I can look back to the summer of 2022 when I took a sabbatical. This is just reviewing for our folks the process. And even prior to that, personally, there was God's working in my life and doing some reading and study. But specifically 2022, that summer, doing preparation, you and I spent some time together early 23 as you were finishing up your semester. And I just want to remind our folks, out of that time together, you put together a document, Elder-Led, Do We Transition? And so I just want to call our folks' attention to this. Hopefully you've taken the time to read this. If not, I would encourage you to do so. Equally, we have spent time as elders, as the staff elders, praying and talking and getting God's direction for us and leading our church family making this decision. So I have been thankful for you, for the other pastors and their input. This is kind of the end of a series of videos that we have put together that have tried to address questions that we know of. We've done Q&As.
Yeah, you wrote those letters.
Yeah, back in the fall of 22, I started out writing articles to introduce this, and just like a soft entry to this, and then Q&As in the spring of 23. I know we had two, I think three Q&As, and then the videos, and then out of the videos, and this is something our folks can be looking for here in the near future, is an elder framework. It's entitled Elder Framework, How Will First Baptist Garner Implement an Elder Team? So should our church family on the 15th of May affirm this decision, here is a document that's been put together that basically will describe the framework of how we'll do that. And really it's just a review of the videos. And so I want to share this with our folks so thereby be prepared. If you have questions, now's the time to get them answered.
Yeah.
When we come to the members meeting, particularly on this motion, knowing the gravity of it and the importance of it, we want to make sure our people, we're not learning about it when we're asking them to make the decision, but they come prepared to make the decision. And so I cannot stress enough how important it is if you have questions that you come to Alex, myself, to any of the pastors, and we'll try and get the answers that you're looking for, so you'll be better prepared on the 15th of May to make this decision. So the motion will be brought. It will be by ballot, and it will be without any other discussion. Now, there'll be some other motions from nominating that'll take place. There's a couple of folks that will be setting aside as messengers to go to our Southern Baptist Convention in June. So there'll be other items of business that we'll address, but this is the most important, most critical decision that we'll make that evening.
Yeah. And I hope that you've noticed from him listing out all of the things that we've sought to do to make sure that you're informed, that we want you guys to see our heart in this matter. We want you to know that this is important to us, that we care about it, but also that we want you to be fully informed to make this decision on May 15th. And so, like you said, please come bring your questions. Let's talk through them. Let's work through what Scripture says together, so that we can all, as a church family, make a decision that honors the Lord and that we've prayed about and that we feel the Lord is leading us to do in the direction He's leading our church on May 15th. And so thank you for watching all these videos. Thanks for taking the time to invest in the question and answers and reading all of the articles and the books and stuff we provided. We love you guys. We're so thankful, and we hope you have a great rest of your day.